The race to 2023 has really begun. What with Tom, Dick, Harry picking up expression of interest forms, as well as nomination forms.
I don't know. I haven't seen Tom.
Oh, Tom has been there. Oh. Dick has been there.
Really?
And Harry.
Oh.
They've all three been there. And more.
What regions are they from?
Question mark. So, the race has really started. So while we're talking about elections and all that, we must also be talking about how inclusive all this process is going to be. What is happening to the women? What is happening to the young people? What is happening to those living with disabilities? Are they not Nigerians? The answer to that is, of course they are Nigerians, and they should also be given a chance to be part of the whole process, to be part of government, either at the local government, state, or federal level. At least, so we think, but we are not politicians. We have two gentlemen who are going to look at this with us this morning and let us know if they think that there is enough inclusiveness in all this process. In the studio with us, we have Chief Godi Uwazurike, who's a legal practitioner.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
And joining us from Uyo via Zoom is the founder, Nigeria First Initiative, Ezekiel Etuk. Good morning, Ezekiel.
Thanks for having me. Always a delight and pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Well, since I have you on screen, I might as well just start with you, Ezekiel. And I happen to know that you are in the thick of it all. So you will give us first-hand information. We're talking inclusiveness. How many women are vying for governorship in your state? Let's start from there.
There's what is politically correct, and there is what is reality. And I want us to think. The very first is that there are 18 political parties in Nigeria. And unfortunately, the media is complicit in making us feel that there are two, but there are 18 political parties. That's number one. Point number two is that election is won in numbers. So if you feel you have the numbers, then pick the form on any of the 18. I'll give you a live example. There was a man called Ifeanyi Uba. He went to the two big political parties to contest for Senate. They both denied him the ticket. And he said, I will win. I am popular amongst my people. They know me. I will win. Out of frustration, he went to the small, inconsequential party. And guess what? He won. The same thing happened with a man called Mimiko. He said, give me the smallest party ever that is non-existent. I am loved by my people. I will win. And they didn't take him serious. He took Labour Party, non-existent, and he beat an incumbent governor. Let's not be so fixated. Why am I saying this? The women in ADC, African Democratic Congress, where I'm not just a member, I'm a BOT member, it is free. So we are asking any woman, and luckily for us, we have about 3 women now coming in for the presidential race. And from the body language and the momentum generated, they are going to create impact. I can say that for a fact. One of them is one young lady from Delta State. The names keep skipping me, and I really owe her tons of apologies because she's my friend. I ought to mention her name, okay? She is there. All we want to know is that you are loved by your people, and the media also gives you a chance. You may not have the money to do the media, but I know of a lot of media houses, including channels, that gives opportunity to people that have something to say. Others with a deep pocket can buy airtime, yes, but Channels is liberal. I have never paid a dime to be on Channels. Just tell them and let them know that you have something to say, they'll give you a chance. So being inclusive, it's a topic that we need to look at it at a very, very dispassionate level. The two big parties don't have time for women. They don't have time for people with disabilities. They don't have time for all this, the youth. I can say this with every sense of responsibility. Because where are you expecting, you say the presidential is 100 million, but we give the youth 50%. What is that? You're expecting them to go and cough out 150 million. From where? If they had 50 million, they'll be doing their business and everything.
Exactly.
But you come to a place like ADC, African Democratic Congress, we say if you're below 35, it's free. Now that is...
Ezekiel, be careful, be careful. No campaigning on our program. We'll give you a bill soon.
People, what you are doing is giving information, not campaign. Because if I campaign, I'll go against INEC guidelines. I'm campaigning, but you inform, you inform the people. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So being inclusive within the two parties is a big question, a big elephant in the room. But within the so-called smaller parties, even, like I say it again, factual, ADC that came third in the national elections. After APC, PDP, it was ADC, So let the field be opened up. Let the public know that once you are popular amongst your people, you can do what Ifeanyi did, you can do what Mimiko did. Don't hope to win election because there's structure there that is hanging for you. So what you are buying is you are buying structure so they can put that price on you. Can you imagine you bringing 100 million to come and contest on ADC because you know that you have the reach? Can you imagine what 100 million will do? It will open a constituency office in every state of the federation because in every state, 3 million will give you an office and furnish it. In virtually every state. So you can imagine that. Don't go waste your money if you know you are popular. But if you know you're not popular and you want to buy election because you have money, then God help you, go to the two big parties. Even also, there are 16 others, not just ADC alone. There are 16 others. And I'm happy that this information goes out.
Well,
thank you.
Chief, you heard him. The question of inclusiveness in the process is the issue we are looking at. Don't forget that just recently, women protested because of the same issue of lack of adequate inclusiveness or even consideration. Young people, do I even need to talk about that one? Is something you know very well. So in terms of inclusiveness in the entire process going on now, we're not in the proper process yet of campaigns and all. This is the phase where it's the political parties that are taking the lead. Do you see anything like sufficient, significant, or compelling inclusiveness going on?
I think what we have now is exclusiveness, not inclusiveness.
The exact opposite.
Exact opposite. What they're trying to do now is to exclude some people based on their monetary weight. If you go to any of the weddings we have now, at a point, the bridesmaids and so on will be dancing. There is a popular music they have. They say, if you don't get money, hide your face. So in politics today, they're saying, if you don't get money, but you have ideas, hide your face. If you don't get money and you're a leader because you have leadership qualities, hide your face. But if you have money and all you know is how to command people, come. One of the things I've always known is the difference between being a leader and a manager. A manager is there to make sure that things are going on well. But a leader has ideas which he wants to carry out. And because he has ideas, he is ready to be a leader. So in today's world, especially in the world of politics, If you have money, yes, you are worthy to be president. If you don't have money, hide your face. And I'm happy Ezekiel, my friend, has talked of women, youths, and so on. If you really want them to partake in politics, there are many things you do. Not by saying 50%. How many can afford 50 million for the expression of interest and so on? Not the campaign itself.
So even with the 50% discount, they haven't done anything yet?
They have not taken any step. Because I know many young people brimming with ideas, with the passion to lead, with the passion to offer service. And let me put it bluntly, nobody desires to serve more than the youth.
But there are those who are wondering, why don't we begin from the lower levels? The local governments, the state houses of assembly, you know, for the young people, at least get some experience.
Yes, let me just give you an example of a friend who called me a week ago, a professor in one of the universities. He said, Chief, I want to go out and run for House of Representatives. And we spoke, and he told me the ideas, what he has for Ehimembano, Obo, Obama, what service is going to render. And the emphasis for him was service. Shortly after, the announcement came. Oh yeah, bring 20 million first. The man said, where is the 20 million coming from?
From a professor.
How can I now go and campaign if I have to beg people for 20 million? What? And beg them again to go and campaign. Already I'm indebted. So when I go there, what will I do? I will start doing things to enrich myself. So the young people can start, but please make it reasonable for them. You have young graduates who have taken part in the student union elections that have come out. Yes, they can go for councillorship. They can go for House of Assembly. Where will the money come from? If you're already in debt before taking office, your priority will be to repay.
Of course, of course. We've since been joined by Joyce Daniels, a social engineering practitioner. Good morning, Ms. Daniels.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
Good. So tell us what your experience has been in this political space we're talking about.
So I'm running for local government chairman, Asan Central Local Government Edo State. And my experience has been very interesting. Two major things I've taken away so far. Number one, you have to be present to be given room, as it were. I've been told several times, I've heard it over the years, that we want to be more included. We can only be included when we show up. And the showing up is challenging because of various factors which I will not bother mentioning. Number two, we have this, I also had this understanding that politicians are predominantly bad and wicked. And so, you know, we shouldn't associate with them. I will say,
but Joyce, before you go on, you say that politicians are wicked, and well, basically that they're bad people. But now you are one of them. So are you a bad person?
I'm clarifying something. Please follow me. I said we've had an understanding, some idea that politicians are bad and wicked. I'm saying that in my experience, I've seen that there are more people who are ignorant of how to fix the problems. And so it's like going to a doctor who has not been to medical school and they're doing trial by error, touching different parts of your body to fix when they don't know exactly what to do. It comes off as wicked. It's more ignorant than wicked. So personally, I'm a student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. And I see that I'm learning things I had no clue. If I had gotten into government 4 years before now, or even last year before attending this school, I would make the same mistakes out of a good heart, but not having the right skill and knowledge for the enterprise of governance and leadership. Those are two major things I've seen are challenges. We have to show up and we have to know what to do when we show up.
Well, in that same space, Joyce, I'm wondering, because, you know, we're talking about inclusive governance here, and there are many people who are wondering, so young people want to go into politics. Are you saying that many may not be as ready as they think they are, in spite of all the jostling.
That is exactly what I am saying. Many of us are not as ready as we think we are. I was in a class recently, we were talking about trade policies and all manner, and over 100 of us in class went through discussions for hours, and when it came to practical solutions, we couldn't provide the solutions properly because we were still under-educated. So there should be education, and guess what? It's not going to be given once again. It's going to be taken. You're going to have to enroll in a school. You will pay your fees. You will learn it, and then you will present yourself. Else you will make the same mistakes, because we come in with a lot of sentiments and emotion that will not translate to conversion in leadership.
But there are those who also wonder, hey, a good number of these young people run very, very successful businesses. There are those who cite the NSAS, how it was so well organized before it was hijacked or derailed one way or another. I mean, so some will be wondering if young people can do that within such a short time. Who says it's not possible for them to do the same thing in governance?
Nobody. It is possible in governance, but you have to start. Like in business, you start somewhere, you raise capital, you understand business language, you understand profit loss, value chains, all of that. It's the same thing. So you start. So start today. Join a party today. Start applying yourself. Go to your community, whichever community you want to run for office, or you want to be a part of the political process. Go there and start. Every one of us, I've been in business for 15 years. Many of us have been in business. You don't just jump. You get in and you pay your dues, as it were. You pay the price, you make the sacrifices. You grow in business. You keep learning. You keep going back to business school. You keep improving. And sometimes you get into mergers and acquisitions. It's the same thing in politics. Start now, and let's grow together. Nobody's keeping us out. We just need to get in and start. Some people are not everybody's a business person. Not everybody is an entrepreneur or business owner. Some people get into the workforce and do what we call a 9 to 5 because that's where their strength is. It's the same in politics. Not everybody will run for office. Some will need to be part of the electoral bodies. Some will need to be part of the political systems, the political party systems. But we all need to find ourselves in there. Start today. And nothing can stop us. Absolutely nothing. We just need to keep showing up and showing up ready.
Okay. Ezekiel, I want you to weigh in on this issue of preparedness that Joyce has raised. In your experience, how prepared have the men been who think that they have a right to rule us?
You see, there are two song sheets, one audience. And there's this cacophony, there's this confusion. The level of ignorance in the society is sickening. We fail to understand what governance is. As a result, we have handed over the administration of the biggest enterprise that runs our whole lives to people that have no clue, and they were not there in the first instance to do the work that you're expecting them. Why would a man pay you to serve you? Did you hear what my brother Uwazurike said about the professor? The professor sees problems. He spends so much time researching on the problems. He does so much analysis, synthesis, and evolves solutions. And he's now saying, oh, thank God, let me go and solve my people's problems. The people are not expecting that. He comes to the field and they are like, bro, so where your 20 million? The man is like, I'm coming to solve your problems. And the people are like, leave that story. We don't hear that before. Where your money? If you don't get your money, hide your face. Do you understand it? who with a laugh, who is enlightening the masses that you are rewarding the act of piloting with an engineer? Politics is like a pilot, an aircraft engineer who does the beating and then the shouting and everything. The aircraft is fixed. When the aircraft is fixed, you now see a new set of people coming, looking sharp, articulate, upwardly mobile, focused, fixed. into the cockpit. They are called the pilot. Their job is to make sure the aircraft takes off. They follow all the protocols of flying, and then they take you to where you want to go. They land you safe and secure. Because the people do not distinguish between the pilot and the engineer, they reward the politicians with the responsibility of managing the affairs of state. Politics is speaking loud and saying nothing. Affairs of state is knowing that you must be focused, you must work on best practices, you must have excellence as your standpoint. These are the protocols of the office of the manager of our state called the government. This is what you learn in the school of politics, policies, and governance. Okay. So people need to understand that politics is not just where plug and play. No, it's not money. It's ideas. Like my brother Uwazurike also said, there is the ideas man who is the leader, and then there is the manager of the ideas who is almost, is like clairvoyant. He must be able to read the mind of the leader and then translate that. That is what governance is. So what my sister Joyce has said by what is being initiated by our sister Dr. Obi Ezekwesili is something that the federal government ought to be doing. But what do you find? You find the federal government who sits down and under their watch, the Minister of Labor, where education is on strike, and the Minister of State for Education have picked 100 million funds. Under their watch, the central bank governor, whom I don't know if he can really beat his chest and say, globally, I've done what Napoleon Bonaparte could not do, has picked a fund of 100 million. People that should ordinarily, in my opinion, be resigning are picking forms. That shows the mentality, the mindset, the understanding, and I dare say the audacity of the government that we run. I think the time has come when the people have to wake up. I want to thank Channels because a program like this goes a long way. Channels is one of the most watched programs. And let Channels please tell Nigerians that we don't have two parties. That narrative is doing us ill. I was privileged to have a full day with the elder statement of OBJ on Wednesday. A full day. And the thing he said, they wanted to stop recording. He said, no, leave it on tape. Leave it on tape. I have come to say that APC and PDP don't have the capacity to save Nigerians. So I'm looking up to the smaller parties now. That is why I can invite the management or the BOT or the whatever of ADC because I believe in what people are doing. He can say so. So please, Channels, we don't have two parties in Nigeria. We have 18 and encourage people to go to any party and register. We have to save Nigeria. APC, PDP is no.
Well, Chief, speak to the inclusiveness we're talking about because, I mean, most certainly the conversation is getting really interesting and so many things are happening at the same time. But do you think we've been able to create an enabling environment? I won't say level playing field because 40 million and 100 million are definitely not level. Not level at all. At all. So would you say we have created an enabling environment? And that's just for the two leading parties as we have talked about. There is ADC, as Mr. Etuk mentioned, there is SDP, and there are so many others. Do you think we've been able to create an enabling environment for young people to even play, to even say, you know what, we want to get in?
The only environment I know we have now is the one that enables certain people to be champions in mediocrity. What do I mean by that? You're not for the best, you're not for the worst, you're just looking for anything that goes, provided the money is there. So the young people, believe me, are simply not there. Right now, you have reduced them to those who cheer you when you're going, or those who look around and say, yeah, what do you have for us? I mentioned the students' union leadership. If you have not taken time to look at it, go and look at them. They manage to study. They manage to also do their campus politics. With that enthusiasm, they come out. And once they come out, what happens? They're told, oh yeah, my friend, go and sit down and join the queue. You notice somebody who is barely educated bossing him. And because they are bossing him, his own initiative style has to go down. Otherwise, he'll be accused of insubordination. So, as of today, the two major parties have now really taken steps to have the youths included, to have the ladies included.
Do you see an opportunity for the young people here? As we've often said, they have the numbers. Just in the week, in the course of the week that is ending today, was it even last week? I read a report where INEC, through the National Commissioner on Information, was saying that even in the current voter registration process, that youths between ages 18 and 34 make up 70% of those who have completed the process of registration to be voters in 2023. 70%. So do you see an opportunity for young people to organize themselves? And if you would say yes, I assume you would say yes. How?
Well, let me just clarify it a little. In our traditional way of thinking, the elders know best. If we have a family meeting, the young people look up to the elders, and when they want to say, hey, stop and listen. Okay. You don't know much. So we hush down the youths. Even in party settings, we also make them to look up to those who have been there. And if we check, 70% of those who have been there are corrupt. Now, those young people, I will advise them to do what some people are doing for one of the presidential candidates in PDP. Some people set up a Fund Me account, and they're asking for 1,000 naira. Following that, what you said about the NSAS arrangement, it was not a case of one man coming with money, a lot of people. So any young man who wants to make a name also has a chance, but avoid the big parties because you won't have any room. So go to the smaller parties, like Ezekiel said. Make sure you're a community man. You are not a helicopter politician. In the community, they know you, you know them. You see some people, they see the road is bad in the community. They gather other people. They get pure water. They get popcorn and so on. For 2-3 hours, they fill up. That's leadership.
But speak to also what Joyce Daniels said earlier about the readiness or not of the young people who need to get governance education.
No, the young people, I will tell you, are bridling with enthusiasm. They want to join the men fray. Looking for paid employment is like looking for a pin in a haystack. In today's world, anything you want to do and you encourage them to join you, provided there is headway there, the young people will join you. But if the policy of the government is to beat them down, the first thing is disgust, and then they start grumbling. But I encourage them, get involved. Don't ever let anybody put you down. But if you are joining any of the parties, please be careful. Our sister, B.S. Ekwesili, remember her experience 4 years ago. She joined one of the parties and she was made a presidential candidate. Midway, the leadership of the party started pulling her down. In fact, started fighting her. As soon as she said, I'm no longer contesting, they now said, oh, we are supporting the President Buhari campaign. In other words, they were just using her name to make sure they had. So if you're a young person, like Ezekiel said about Ifeanyi, no problem. Zeni Labour Party, nobody knows about it. ADC, in some states, you won't hear, but some people won election. So it means you, the young person, are you ready? You, the woman, are you lady? Let me even go to the women. They form a major and formidable group of voters. But quite often you find them looking up to, oh yeah, our guy is coming. And then they get one person and make the person woman leader. So why can't the woman be a party chairman? Why can't she be a presidential candidate? In the APC, there is a lady now, Uju. She has spent her own money. All she's saying is, yes, we can. In Latin, they say, ego cogito sum. In other words, I am telling myself I can do it. Therefore, I can do it.
Well, Joyce, you've been listening to the conversation. I'm just looking for opportunities for young people. You very well know, not every young people.
And women.
And, well, she's young and she's a woman. Come on, it's a balance.
I don't feel so young anymore.
Well, you don't look any older as well. Even the woman that is talking to me here, can you imagine who says she's old? Anyway, the question that I'm trying to ask you here is the opportunities. Not everyone, we both know this, not every young person will be able to go sit down for some tutelage. Not because they don't want to, maybe because they can't even afford it. And they are popular in their environments. So, and it's always a game of numbers, a popularity contest of sorts in the various localities of councillorship, as you said, chairmanship, and the rest of them. And there are, as you've also heard the gentleman speak, there are those who are popular. They're not in the big parties, the ZLPs of this world, the APGAs of this world, and they are in elective posts already as we speak. So is there an opportunity for galvanizing the numbers of young people? Because you would agree with me that there are some of them that have the capacity at various levels all across the nation.
There are opportunities, several opportunities. It's where are we looking? It's like saying I want to be a doctor, but I can't afford to go to medical school. So just because of sentiments and my good heart, please make me your doctor. What has to be done has to be done. You will borrow, beg to get the funds, to get the training, to get in where you need to be. As long as it's legal and moral, do what you need to do. Stand on the streets, call out, scream, shout, but make it happen. There are opportunities. So first, define where you want to serve, how you want to serve. Go there, show up every day, knock on 1,000 doors. If you need 7 people to support you, business laws will show us you might need to knock on up to 100 doors to get 7. So don't tell me you've knocked on 10 doors and they didn't open. Have you knocked on 700? We've read the stories of the Obamas and co on how they had to knock on thousands of doors to get the numbers they needed. It's not localized to us in Nigeria. So sometimes we speak as if we have some challenge that is only known to us. It's all over the world. It's what is. Someone said to me someday, oh, the parties are so bad. Why don't you start your own? I said, it's like going to a bank and having poor service and say, why don't you start your own bank? Do I have 25 billion to start a bank? It's a process.
Well, you know, on that, I'm actually talking about.
Speak to me now.
Yeah.
When people speak to me now and say, oh, the opportunities, the first question I ask is, what party have you joined? I say, well, you know, once you start the well, you know, there's a challenge there. Get in somewhere. And then we start knocking on all the doors. I've knocked on thousands of doors every day, seeking for funds, seeking for support. I didn't just sit here. So don't tell me, well, you know, you knock. You keep showing up. It's hard work. Business is hard. Politics is hard. Governance is hard. Being a parent is hard. Do the hard work.
Joyce.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm getting this distinct feeling that you are going for all this training because you're a woman.
No.
Goes in. Many of them go in without any training and just believe that they can do the job.
Many women have also tried even without training. They've tried. Many men have also tried and didn't make it anywhere even with training. So no, it's not because I'm a woman. It's because I want to be a competent leader. And in my class, guess what? We have more men once again who have shown up. We do have more men. So we have several men, including people who are serving currently in the House of Representatives, people who are running for different offices. We have several of them right now in class. It's not because I'm a woman, no.
Okay.
And there are many women who I have met on the field who are trying to run for office and have no training whatsoever. And I'm like, hell, these ones want to put us in trouble again. It's not because I'm a woman.
Joyce, you know that they say that everything a woman wants to do, she has to work twice as hard as the men, which is where I was going. Is that the case here as well?
Personally, I haven't seen it as such. I'm not going to discount other people's experiences. It has not been my experience. What I am going through, I can see all the other men go through exactly the same. That's my personal experience. I know some people have had it more difficult. I cannot discount. I don't have all the details. In my personal experience, I haven't had it harder because I'm a woman. That's my personal experience.
Okay, now speak to the inclusiveness in this whole process that we're talking about, Joyce. What do you think as a nation we are losing? I'm happy that you're speaking to the locality of politics. How local politics is and how you need to show up, as you said, and all of that. So do you think we have as a country, and I know you've been checking, around, looking through all over the place to see how things have been done. Do you think as a nation gunning for another round of elections, we have a mind of inclusiveness in the electoral process?
There is a mind and a willingness to. There is the other part of the deal, which I would say is the process. And I want to be clear. In my experience, the process will sift out not only women, it will also sift out men. I haven't seen any clear-cut extra effort, besides, of course, like my party, the People's Democratic Party, allowing us to get our nomination forms for free. Yes. There is cultural, well, let me not go into all that. So
But isn't it part of it? Isn't it part of the entire thing? There are those who look at those cultural influences, religious influences, political influences, and all those things. Don't you see them as being cogs in the wheel as well, one way or another?
They're not local to Nigeria. We'll keep asking and negotiating. In my hometown, till the last meeting I attended, culturally, women don't speak in the town hall meetings. I was allowed to speak because I'm an aspirant. Culture. And it is said culture will not change right there at the town hall meeting. We will keep making the negotiations until someday it does happen if we stay true to it. Culture. So what can we do? I would say, I only know about the solutions. Women, please, if you have the willingness and you have the courage, because men and women alike need courage, come out, show up, join in, join the different wolf packs now. We have, for example, the Elect Our Future Lawmakers program. We have different groups of people, of organizations, different organizations supporting women, even with funding, with communication efforts, with media presence, and all of their groups. So just come out first.
Okay.
Join in.
Okay.
Just try. Okay, I'll let you speak.
Ezekiel, Ayo has brought another dimension into the whole thing, this culture dimension. How much do you think culture is influencing the coming out of women and young people for that matter? Because basically in our culture across Nigeria, when there are elders seated, a young man does not speak unless he is asked to. Neither does a woman, for that matter.
I think your mic is on mute, Mr. Etuk.
Yeah. Sorry. I just didn't want to say. Good. Let me be extremely practical and down to earth. And my lady, my sister, awesome sister, Joyce, I salute you first. But Your party, PDP and APC, I'm not talking about them. Culture is it, because it's a party of the old, by the old, for the old. The youth have no space in them. But other parties, they fail to understand that the youths are different from them. I'll give you an example. I started very early. At 25, I married, and at 30, I'd had my children. Now, at 45, my 2 boys had graduated from the university. But this is the important thing. My 2 sons in Nigeria today, one is married to a lady in Kogi. The other one is married to a lady in Benue. I'm from Akwa Ibom. All that issue of my people, the young people, they live in a different world, though. Completely. All this problem of Nigeria are problem of we, the old people. The young people don't see what you are talking. What is old? You are telling my daughter that she cannot speak. She's just looking at you. In PDP, APC, it rains. In my party, ADC, the state secretary of the party is a young girl of less than 30. The BOT chairman of the party is a woman. So in these younger parties, all that culture and tradition, they don't have time for it.
Mr. Etuk, I think you should speak to the question that was asked you, because, I mean, just as you have heard, just a second.
Yes.
Her experience, clearly, she has detailed it as being different. So let's just speak to the issues. Well, there are many people who have their various opinions, and you have, as much as you have spoken about the big parties not being this or that, her own experience has been different and unique. And hey, the old people are going to go away eventually. Some young people have to take over. The earlier the young people get into these big parties that you talked about, the better for the parties, for the nation. So just speak to the issue of the inclusiveness that Alero asked you.
This is the mindset I take exception to.
Okay.
You just made a statement. The earlier the young people get to the big parties, the better. Please explain to me why that is so.
I don't know, Joyce. You want to try?
Because transformation takes time. Because transformation takes presence, being there. So I will not agree that it is only an old mindset. Parties are made up of people. In my party, we have progressive minds. We have people who are thinking for today, the same way we have people who are thinking for 20 years ago, the same way it is in my village, the same way it is in my church. And I always say it, and I do not mince words. As long as...
Let me get back my time. Let me get back my time.
We're running out of time, guys, so you really have to pack what you have to say into Ezekiel, for instance.
Is that
with 1 minute.
The young people have an option in their space. If you go to a bank that is not giving you the service, Bank A, go to Bank B. That's what Joyce said, and I agree. There are parties that are giving the young people. You see, let me even say something very important, absolutely important. There are 2 types of age in politics. There is the natural age and there's a mindset age. You can be 20 years, but you have been with Honorable for half your life. So your mindset is that of that politician that is 70 years, though you are 20, 25. You can also be like I am. I'm 58. I'm not 28. I'm 58. But why do they call me the father of the young people? Why do they call me the youth headmaster? Because at 45, I had graduates, so I can understand the young people better. Okay. There are people that are 70. Look at like Atedo Peter's side.
Ezekiel,
he's like the father of the young people.
I'm sorry I have to cut you short. I'm sorry, but I need to take your last word on this. In one sentence, Ezekiel. In one sentence, so.
In one sentence.
Yes, so.
What is your future, young people? Get your PVC. get into a party that identifies with you, and seize your future. That's my conclusion.
Thank you. Joyce, your last word, please.
My last word is, there are no last words. The conversation will always continue.
Of course.
Do what you need to do and get in today. Thank you so much for this privilege.
Chief.
My last words for now, because last words means I'm dying. All young people, go and get your voters' card. 1. 2, those who desire should join political parties and become members. 3, join community where you belong and be of service to them. Gradually, you become a leader. And 4, attend meetings. There is nothing more important than being present. And then, if you have more friends and supporters on the internet, but in real life they won't vote for you, it's because you're not making direct impact. So we need practical young people to join those who are retiring. 20 years ago, they said the youth, the future belongs to you. Today, the youth, the future belongs to you. And the youth are still looking up to them.
The future has never come.
Never come.
Okay. Chief Godi Uwazurike, legal practitioner, who was with us in our studio in Lagos, and our 2 other guests who joined us via Zoom, Joyce Daniels, a social engineering practitioner, as well as Ezekiel Etuk, founder, Nigeria First Initiative, who joined us from Uyo. Thank you very much. Panelists.
Thank you. God bless you.
Sunrise will return in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Please join us.